Welcome back, guys. Hope you had a great spring break. I'm guessing that some of you took a trip. Maybe some of you worked over spring break. Some of you might have gotten to spend some time with your family and friends. Hopefully you all got a chance to relax and catch your breath. Me, I caught up on some grading, did some home improvement projects, did a lot of reading just for pleasure, and got to play with my wife and my kids. So it was a really awesome spring break. But I'm ready to come back. Got the last 5 weeks coming up, ready for that final push. So let's get started. For the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about writing for public relations and advertising. Now, I know many of you may be thinking, I'm not in public relations, I'm in digital media production, and I get that. But you may find that your first job takes you to work for a PR firm or for a company working in their PR office, and you're going to be writing commercials or doing promotional videos. You may get with a production house, and your job is to do PSAs and promotions. You might work for a television station and work in their creative department, and you do promos for upcoming shows or for the news, or you might be hired out to go do commercials. So the skills that we're going to be talking about the next couple weeks about doing commercials and PSAs, propaganda techniques, those are skills, and that's writing ability that will give you another tool in your tool bag. This week you need to read chapter 15, which deals with advertising, including commercials, promos, and PSAs. You also have a propaganda techniques assignment that's going to be due, and that's what your discussion board post is about. Discussion board post is about this week, is doing commercials, specifically branding. So take a look at that. On that propaganda assignment, which is under assignments on Blackboard, I want some specifics, okay? So as you read the instructions, this will make more sense. But if you're talking about a bandwagon fallacy, for example, I don't want you to write something like, you see the bandwagon all the time whenever you see political ads. Give me the specific ads. I want a specific advertisement that you're talking about that demonstrates the propaganda technique. And that'll be the same for all the different techniques that you see in there. So this week, your assignments by Monday, or by midnight tonight, that's Monday, May 28th, your third blog post is due. And then by midnight, Sunday, April 3rd, your fourth blog post will be due, as well as that propaganda techniques assignment. Also be sure you do your discussion board post. And also don't forget that some of you still haven't reached that 85% threshold on the AP and improving writing and wordiness assignment. If you haven't done so, please get back on that assignment and get that done. I want everybody at 85%. And with that, I'll wish you a good week. If you have questions, as always, feel free to stop by or give me a call. And next up, we'll be talking about the grammar rules. Okay, so now let's talk about the last 3 grammar rules that we have to discuss. Again, be implementing these along with the AP rules we've talked about when they're appropriate. They won't be used anymore because we're out of talking about news. When we talk about writing news releases, they'll be applying, but otherwise AP is just for news, okay? But the grammar rules we're talking about, the improving writing rules we've talked about, those apply to any type of writing you do, so be sure you apply them, all right? So without further ado, here are rules 16, 17, and 18 in your 18 vital grammar rules. Number 16 is the incorrect complement with a linking verb. Linking verbs such as be, appear, feel, or become link a subject with a word or words that identify or describe the subject. When the identifying word called a subject complement is a pronoun, use the subjective case, which is I, he, she, we, they of the pronoun. For example, that was he on the telephone 5 minutes ago. One tip, replace the subject with the pronoun. He was on the telephone 5 minutes ago. When a word or words describing the subject following a linking verb, the word or words must be adjectives. So example 1, she feels terrible about the things she said. Terrible is talking about how she feels. Example 2, John pitched terribly in the 7th inning in last night's game. If it were John pitched terrible, then you'd be saying John was terrible, when in reality, you're talking about the way he pitched. In example 1, feels is a linking verb, so you're going to be using an adjective. In example 2, pitched is an action verb, so you're using an adverb to talk about the way he pitched. Rule number 17 is incorrect use of the subjunctive mood. Conditions that are contrary to fact, such as when sentences begin with I wish or if, they're not actually happening, it's an if it happens or I wish it were to happen. Those require a verb to be in the subjunctive mood. Use a subjunctive mood in that clauses for verbs of wishing, suggesting, and requiring. In other words, use the subjunctive in clauses dependent or independent that do not state fact. Finally, use the subjunctive mood in sentences that make a conditional statement. For example, the bill would require everyone to register for the draft at age 18, not the bill will require. Again, the bill hasn't been approved yet, so you can't say the bill will. That means it would be factual. But in this case, we don't know if the bill has passed or not, so we're saying if the bill does pass. Again, if the bill passes, then it would require everyone to register for the draft at age 18. In example 2, the bylaws require that he declare his candidacy by April 10th. We don't know if he's going to declare or not. So instead of saying the bylaws require that he declared or that he will declare, we use the subjunctive mood, which is declare. And finally, in example 3, if I were a volunteer, I might get the chance to meet the candidate. We want to say if I was a volunteer or if I am a volunteer, but in reality, because this is a statement contrary to fact, it hasn't happened yet, we use the subjunctive mood, which is were. And finally, Rule 18 is watching your wrong word usage. Wrong word errors include using a word that sounds similar to or the same as the words you need but means something different, such as affect and effect, and using a word that has a shade of meaning that is not what you intend, such as cheap or inexpensive. Cheap means it was poorly made. Inexpensive means it just doesn't cost very much. Another one I hear all the time is eager versus anxious. Anxious means you're nervous. So you wouldn't say, I am anxious to go to the ball game. You'd be eager to, you're excited to, you're ready to go. You might be anxious about a test, but you're not eager for it. Check the dictionary if you are not sure whether you are using the word correctly. Okay, well there you go. You have 18 very important grammar rules that you can apply to your writing. Go back, take this PowerPoint that is available to you on Blackboard, take the lessons we've talked about, apply them to your writing. Do your writing, take the lesson out, take a look at it, proof it, make sure that it is clean, instantly improve your writing, and instantly improve your credibility. Have a great week.